Here are 20 different details in Squid Game Season 3's teaser trailer. 6 pink guards escort a dead casket that has Jihan, the main character. The frontman kept him alive from last season. The reason why I'm pretty sure will be explained this season, because the frontman is trying to destroy Jihan from the inside out, and we'll see this more throughout the trailer. Notice how there's only 2 triangle guards that have armed weapons, and the guards aren't as threatening. This might have come from the frontman's orders. We cut back to the lobby of those who stayed, and this teaser trailer predicts who's gonna die and who's gonna live. Because the scene jumped from the coffin straight to the Dogecoin scammer, we can assume that he's more than likely gonna die this season. The 4 circle guards bring the casket to the middle of the room while the triangle guards stay and keep watch, while the classical music blares over the whole lobby, meaning that the next game is about to begin. But before it does, the guards leave the mysterious casket in the middle of the room, and all players go to investigate the casket, with Jihan's team, the granny, the son, and player 120 visiting the casket first, and they're the closest. Meaning that they're literally the closest to Jihan. He has a little scar on his left forehead, meaning that he was knocked out to get into this casket, but was kept alive for some reason. The next scene, he wakes up in a bed. Usually when a character wakes up in a bed, this symbolizes like a new adventure, and it literally is a new adventure in a new game, because immediately after that next scene, there's a big room with all the gathered players in what seems to be this black room somewhere in a Squid Game, and there's a knife a silhouette at the very end of the room. And in the middle of the room is a little gumball machine, and it has 2 types of balls, red balls and blue balls. The red and blue motif, for those that don't know, has been really prevalent inside a Squid Game. The red pill means you want to wake up and go back to that reality, while the blue pill means you want to stay inside the Matrix forever and ever. Squid Game does follow this, but this time the players have to split up into 2 different teams, this being the red team and the blue team, after their ball is drawn. We see Jihan does end up getting a red ball, but we suddenly get cut off from the pregnant lady and seeing what team she is on. She's more than likely going to be on the opposite team of Jihan, because this trailer is hiding what team she's on. 5 VIPs and the frontman share dinner. Notice how all the servants dressed in mysterious black masks all give the VIPs a plate, but the frontman on the right does not receive a plate. More on the frontman later. Notice how the shape of the table is an octagon, but only sit 6 people, including the frontman. This mysterious room is also pretty mysterious, and we can see 3 doors leading to some hidden place we'll find out later in the season. We also have a mysterious female VIP guard, and this seems to be the only female VIP guard throughout this whole entire show. This is a really big deal because the VIP world is expanding a lot. There's a ton of VIPs that we don't know, and that I'm pretty sure we'll find out in this season. For now, the food is a little hidden and I can't really see from this angle, but we'll clarify that later on. But the flowers on top of the table represent something pretty mysterious. These are the only flowers we ever see inside of the Squid Games. No dead players get flowers, instead their bodies get burnt into hell, never to be seen again by the outside world. Back inside the Squid Game, a player has bloodied shoes and walks. He has 5 minutes left and is on the red team. But when he walks, Jihan, the main character, reveals a mysterious dead body. This dead body was a former player and he has been eliminated. If we look closely, he's wearing a blue jersey and there's blood splattered on the wall. This team member was on the opposite team of Jihan and he was shot for some reason. We'll cover this reason later on in the video. But this means we'll at least see 2 new games in Squid Game Season 3, Squid Game's last season ever. We cut to the frontman standing mysteriously, but there's not a lot of context. But all we do know is that he has his mask on, which will later be revealed at the end of the teaser. He watches the red and blue balls. Pause. And the crypto coin scammer bro looks on. But we see player 120, the transgender one, draws a blue ball, meaning she's on the opposite team as Jihan and will face him in the most bloodiest fight ever, and this will probably be one of the last times we see player 120. Next is Thanos' friend. He draws a red ball, meaning he's on the same team as Jihan, and we'll see him get really crazier throughout this season. Don't forget that this guy still has Thanos' drugs, and he's probably high right now, staring at that ball, and he's gonna lash out, especially with the loss of Thanos. Remember, we waited almost a year for season 3, but these games happened like the day after. So Thanos' death is weighing pretty recently over this man's head. But I almost lost my head when I found out the sun drawed a blue ball. He freezes for a moment, but looks over to his left. There, we see his saddened mama. She clutches on to the red ball, meaning that she is on the red team and her son is on the blue team. In the death battle, this cannot happen because the shaman's prophecy is right. One of them will die a painful and horrible death. This is even sadder when you realize the X's and the O's on a player's uniform don't really matter anymore, and instead the players are divided into teams based off the balls. The square guard demands the players get ready for the next game, and the elevator opens behind them with at least 6 circle guards holding what seems to be boxes. We'll have to figure out what type of boxes these are in season 3. This means there might possibly be 3 games in season 3. Can we aim for 3 likes this video? The players are divided into the circle and X team, with the circle team being the biggest. But one man that looks like the late Junbei walks down to the square guards from the crowd. The circle players look onward and nobody looks happy. But we see Jihan is handcuffed to a literal bed. Could the frontman have taken this precaution so Jihan doesn't start a riot again? But this scene looks to take place immediately after the riot because Jihan still has blood on his right shoulder uniform. And to the right of the screen, we can see multiple players lining up to the guards while the guards hand them out boxes. What could this hidden game be? Luckily, we're paid off and see these pink short little boxes that have the shapes triangle, square, and circle on them. But the contents of what exactly is inside the box isn't revealed. This seems to take place in an entirely different room with the yellow floor. In the next scene, the pink guard hands a blue player a blue colored box, meaning that the 2 teams, the blue and the pink team, will have different colored boxes, but will more than likely have the same type of contents. They're also the same exact size, and each box has a ribbon on it representing a Squid Game coffin. More about this new room: the walls and ceiling are black and the floor is yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. But we can see that the blue team is not exactly one big team. Instead, they're broken up into groups of what seems to be 4. The blue team stands to the right of the room, while the red team stands to the left of the room. They're broken up by the lines. You can barely see the line on the floor breaking up the 2 teams. To the right of the screen, there's also a staircase leading up to what seems to be the next game, and there's a rifle guard blocking this area. There's a ton of new information in this next scene though. Player 120 is posted up in this new dev game, but out of focus, we can see somebody of the opposite team. They're wearing a red jersey, but this isn't the main character Jihan. For now, the directors did a pretty good job of covering up who this mysterious new player is. But the directors did a bad job of hiding what the next game will be, and it seems like to be some type of fist fight or hand-to-hand combat, because we see player 120 posted up, no equipment, and this seems to be a game that's more intimate. She looks through the mysterious peephole directly to our souls, but we cut to a scared Minsu, and it looks like he's on the red team. Will he be fighting player 120? The now unmaxed frontman looks on at the game from his room, but there's not a lot of context given here, so we can breeze past it for now. We see a blue ball be revealed from the ball machine, but we cut over to the ex-military man. He looks scared and to his left. But the next scene, we see the traitor Pink Guard as she crawls through the vents. More than likely, she's escaping the island via the air ducts after she was brutally beat up by the guards. A scanner is up to the man's ear, and this is the same man we saw get shot at the end of season 2 by this girl Pink Guard. You can tell from his facial hair and his haircut. The square guard radio in someone, but we don't have a lot of context. But if we look behind him a little bit carefully, the players are going to their next game, but everything seems to be in order. No one is revolting and all the dead bodies from the riot have been cleaned up. Players and guards included. This must take some time. This must take place after the riots happen. A rifle guard follows another guard up the stairs. I don't think this is the woman character, but we'll have to figure out later on in the season, and not a lot of context is given here. A red ball drops into the machine, but we immediately cut to our detective Junho. He's wearing scuba dive equipment and looks like he broke off from the captain who turned out to be a traitor at the end of season 2. Now the detective is on the island alone. Will he die this season and finally get closure from his brother, the frontman?
Damn, I wanna know.
She's outside the Squid Game too and looks at a mountain. But from the air duct, we can see her creeping around with a gun. This is that female soldier outside of the complex, and she's investigating. More than likely, the detective Junho and the pink guard will meet up and team up to finally take down the Squid Game and possibly confront the frontman. For now, the guard stands in front of a key-shaped area, and to the opposite of the room looks to be a knife shape. We can see all teams have been decided because the players are grouped up. Even players from different teams, the red and the blue teams, are intermingled. Like in the middle, we see this blue player and he looks to be talking to the red team. But all eyes are pointed at the shaman woman as she stands in front of her 4 followers. When times get desperate, people need something to look up to, and the shaman woman is making a great example of this and building a cult-like following inside of the Squid Game. There seems to be some trouble in the top right of the screen. A guard is pointing his gun at what seems to be a player with his hands up, and another player sits in front of him. But I couldn't really see it. I'm probably reaching here, so let me know down below in the comments of what the hell is happening here. He doesn't know what the hell is happening too. It's another VIP from the first season. Actually, no, this is a completely new VIP, but they're in the same room from season 1. I'm not sure what type of animal his mysterious mask means, but we'll figure out later. She lights a match inside the Squid Game records area. This is a pink guard, and I don't know how she got here. Is she here with Junho? She's not using the lighter for any light or anything. Worst case scenario, she's gonna burn the documents of every single information of the Squid Game here, making it impossible for prosecutors to find the Squid Games and use the records as evidence. From this hidden new game watch room, the VIPs gather to spectate, and we see another female guard. This seems to be on a new day because the man that we saw earlier in that VIP room from season 1 is in a completely new suit, opting for a black suit instead of his green suit. He smashes the door and raises his weapon in this elegant looking room. The walls are marble, he's wearing all black, his scuba uniform is off. But that's all we're given for now. The baby daddy looks horrified, blood is on his face. He just killed somebody really important inside of this season. But I guess we'll have to wait until we figure out who it is. Behind him, we see this bright pictured background. Not too sure what this painting could be, but this is more likely the setting in which the game takes place. This mysterious person's hand draws a blood-shaped arrow pointing behind them. I had lots of trouble identifying who this player was from this type of beads. If you can let me know down below in the comments who this is, let me know. But it seems like this player is sending out a death warning to the alive players, pointing to possibly an exit or a new strategy for this type of team. This has to happen during the red versus blue war. The mother cries but no tears come out. Something really bad has happened as the rest of the players are looking on at her standing, but they're blurred out. She's the main focus and her hair has been let go because she literally has to let go of something. Could this possibly be her deceased son? Remember, they were on opposite teams, her being on the red team and him being on the blue team, and this was a fight to the death in the red versus blue Squid Game war. Proving that the shaman was right, one of them would die a painful and horrible death. And based on that, we see the mother's reaction and not the son's reaction. I'll let you be the judge of who died and who lives. The 45 billion won sits inside of the piggy bank on top of a checkerboard platform. 2 rifle guards stand onward to look on, and this seems to be one of the final games ever inside of Squid Game since the piggy bank is on side of the floor. But not a lot of context is given here, and nothing is on the screen, so I guess we'll have to wait till season 3. But the main character Jihan gave me the perfect thumbnail when he stands in front with his red jersey. He's ready for the game and he's going to get that money and possibly take down the Squid Game since money isn't his goal anymore. But all that gets thrown out the window when we see the baby mama cry. She has a scar on the left side of her face and a tear drops as a Squid Game title card appears. But there's something really important besides the release date. In the black, the baby scream can be heard echoing. And we finally get the release date. Coming next month, June 27, 2025. Join up my live streams almost every day to talk more about Squid Game. For now, bye.